Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and coin factory family, and welcome back again to another daily Casper and crypto live stream. Again, I'm still not on my usual setup, so again, the streams may still be a little bit different, but we're still here with our daily content, and we have a bit of an interesting video to cover today, an interesting stream even. Going to be touching more on the recent dilemma hack, if you will, with Sui, and elements of information that we actually covered yesterday, but I just glossed over, didn't even realize it, and that once more is a testament to why we need systems like Casper. We also have an explanation, or explanations of sorts, as to precisely what has happened and why we are seeing the markets pull back the way they have done today. Bitcoin's now valued at $108,000 after reaching 112k. It's come back down. Casper right now is down 5.5% on the daily time frame, valued at 11.09 cents. All in all, the markets are seeing a bit of a pullback right now, and that is TLDR of it is because of Trump. But again, for me, it's just noise. We'll see a recovery in due time. I still wholeheartedly believe that. And of course, yes, if you enjoy this daily content, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Welcome back everyone again to the channel. Mr. Miles first, actually this time. Good to have you here, brother. And you too, Kryptoni. Finally, he is first indeed. Yes, welcome back, my man. Hope you're having a great day. What's up, Rich Jade? What's up? Hope you're doing very, very well. And yes, Casper, Rocket, 100% Casper is, again, on this cusp, in my belief, about to do very, very well. Of course, right now, Casper's seeing a pullback, and again, I've been highlighting it time and time again, the markets are prepared now and seeing a lot of bullish developments to start rallying, but at the same time, we are still very much in a headline-driven market. TLDR ultimately meaning what headlines matter the most, which fundamentally therefore just means Trump. Whatever Trump announced will have significantly more impact on financial markets. He made two announcements today regarding tariffs, and both of them understandably have caused a correction in the financial markets, mainly in Apple, but still corrections nonetheless. And that's why we're seeing crypto correct right now. But again, I'm still not worried. We'll get into all of the information as we do. Welcome back, DD man. Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. And everyone else who's tuning in right now, hope you're having a great day so far. And yes, happy Friday indeed. Sup QC, Greg. My man, welcome back, Greg. Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. That being said, let's get into the content for today's stream. Actually, but quickly before I do that, I do have to announce something. Those who are following me are probably aware now that I am partnered and working with BYDFi. And BYDFi have actually just announced a promo, an incentive, if you will, for my members only. So for those who haven't signed up yet, those who sign up right now, you have certain benefits right here, where if you were to sign up with my referral link, which is down below in the description, if you deposit, equal to or less than 100, you get an extra 60 USDT bonus. And you can see on the screen here as well, less than or equal to 500. So in between that, 100 bonus, 1,200 bonus, and 5K, 1K bonus. So, BYDFi, been working with them for a few weeks now. I do use their exchange. I like their exchange quite a lot. And yeah, no VPN, no KYC. For those who are quite frustrated with the KYC element, like Coinbase hack recently, that would be less prevalent or downright not happening on BYDFi. They also have regulatory licenses in the United States and Canada and other regions in the world as well. And equally, if you sign up, you get a account of VIP too as well. I made a video on that last week, so you go check out all that video and what it means. So again, if you want to find out more, if you want to get many more benefits alongside this deposit bonus here as well. This incentive lasts until the 29th of May. So you've got 6 days now. So if you want to find out more, again, link down below in the description. And I also will have this posted in my community as well, in the affiliate channel, to go check that out there as well. And I'll come back to this later on in the video again, but let's get into the content for today's stream. So as we can see right now on CoinMarketCap, Casper has currently got 108 million 24-hour trading volume. You really need to crank that mic up again. Okay, I'll crank up the mic a little bit more so right now. It's currently on max blast now, so otherwise then you've got to put the volume up yourself, my man. Currently on max volume now. We can see right now on the CoinMarketCap, Casper is currently valued at 11 cents Also, volume's currently at 108. Actually, you can't just see that, unfortunately. Again, my setup's not the best here, but it's 108 million 24-hour trading volume, which is not too bad. Again, we want to see it higher right now, dominated by the likes of Gate at 24.8%, then Mexi at 17.75, sorry. BitGet at 8.26, Bybit 9.46%, Lbanks at 13, and Kraken down at 2.3%, as always, very, very low. So I've seen the volume again for Kaspa kind of, again, it's hovering around 100 million now, which is reassuring because it used to be hovering around 20, 30 million for a while. So seeing it being consistent around 100 million is better, but again, we see it around the, high hundreds, if not billions, for us to be more bullish on, the adoption coming through. And I think that will start happening when you start seeing the inflows and adoption of smart contracts, and you're seeing these other tools from Ethereum's chain originally, and then eventually it'll be Solana and Sui and the rest of them jumping on Kaspa as well. You'll see a lot more coming through. So again, it's kind of what we're looking at right now, but I am not worried in the slightest right now. If you have a look at the addresses right now for Kaspa as well, we can see right now there's still 526,500 addresses right now. We are seeing not much in terms of inflows all around. We did see some big ones from the exchange wallets today, as people of course are selling due to the market sentiment. We've seen some inflows from other wallets as well that haven't got a name just yet. And we equally did see some outflows as well, some bigger accounts as well. But ultimately, nothing too major today in regards to that. But we are seeing Kaspa again correct right now. Kaspa again currently down roughly 5.4% on the daily time frame. But everything's correcting. It's not just Kaspa being bad. Those who are saying that are evidently not looking at the bigger picture right now. Kaspa is not dumping because Kaspa's bad. It's because the market is correcting, because Bitcoin's correcting. Market. Still see right now 63-64% Bitcoin dominance. We've seen it rally back up very quickly after that massive fall off for a week, and I still think it's going to go higher again. If you look at previous cycles, Bitcoin's dominance normally hit roughly 73% before seeing that massive reversal backwards. So in that regard, we've still got a lot more left for dominance to rally. And again, it could rally higher considering that you've got institutional adoption who are heavily, buying into Bitcoin right now. They'll eventually go into altcoins, but right now it's just Bitcoin. So again, this is not a sign of the end of the cycle or anything like that the news we're about to cover, and not a sign of altcoins is not happening either. It just might take a little bit longer. DC asking, is it alt season yet? No, not yet, brother, unfortunately. But I don't think we are that far off, truth be told. I think we'll see alt season probably, I want to say, in a few months. You'll see, and what I reckon you'll actually see is you'll see similarly how you saw it earlier when you saw Ethereum rallying up and you saw Bitcoin dominance fall off. You'll probably see another one of these miniature alt seasons here, and then you'll see another rally in Bitcoin probably the next month or two, and then you'll see Bitcoin dominance capitulate, fall off massively, and alts will go parabolic. Some may take a while to pop off. Maybe Kaspa will take a while to pop off. Remember, Solana in the last cycle took 3 months before it actually started rallying. From Bitcoin dominance falling off, it took 3 months from the dominance down here. Dominance down here, if I go to it, the dominance reached the bottom around May time. Solana started rallying in August, around here. So it took 2-3 months or so until we started seeing Solana rally. So maybe Kaspa will do the same thing. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But Kaspa, for me, most definitely will not miss out on this cycle. So that being said, we're going to get into exactly what's happening in the market, the macro news, which is very important to then understand exactly why the markets are correcting and what. Trump has just stated that iPhones not made in the United States will face a 25% tariffs. You can see here in the post, I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the United States. Understandably, when Trump announced this, we saw Apple stocks fall down massively. But you can check it out real quick as well. We saw Apple right here. Stock fell down quite considerably on the news, coming 2.84%. And again, the market cap for Apple is significantly larger. Apple market cap's 2.92 trillion, so that's quite a considerable correction. Seeing a 2% correction, that's almost the size of crypto, Apple stock. And we saw a 2% correction in that. That's quite a big deal. Effectively, that's basically like Bitcoin for this, I guess. So we saw a massive correction, and that's ultimately why Apple's down, and therefore why the tariff FUD again is causing a lot of uncertainty. And it's not just that as well. Trump also recommended a 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st, which again is, a week away now? About 9 days away now. So in 8 to 9 days, we may see tariffs and considerable tariffs that implemented on the European Union. Now, I'm not stating my opinion on whether I think it's good or bad or not. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm highlighting the news source here about 2 tariff announcements being made from Trump, which of course tariffs for the most part still have a lot of FUD and uncertainty around them, and that's a headline news because we are still very much in a headline-driven market. Therefore, we are seeing crypto, financial markets across the board, on-risk assets correct because they are thinking, oh no, is Trump about to go trigger happy with tariffs and send the markets into a frenzy and a spiral downwards? Again, I'm not personally too worried. I do think once more it is just noise. We saw Bitcoin literally yesterday hit an all-time high and it was still up there early today. It's just come back down now. I am not worried about tariffs. I'm really not. Maybe call me crazy, I don't know. But so far, since Trump's Liberation Day, which happened on the 5th of April, we saw excessive tariffs being implemented all over the world on every nation. And yes, those who joke about it, on the penguins as well. But since then, we have seen every nation, including China, step forward and negotiate with America. So, will he go overboard? Who knows? Maybe he will do. But so far, his agenda with tariffs was to try and fix the trade deficit, which is over $1.2 trillion on America. And so far, the biggest backlash we saw from tariffs was China retaliating, and now they are throwing out negotiations and trade deals. So again, for me, this is just trader sentiment, emotional trading, reacting on the headline news of tariffs on Apple and tariffs that are bigger on European Union. I think we'll see the sentiment calm down. I would not be surprised to see maybe a bit more correction over the next day or two. But even then, you saw Bitcoin come down to 107k earlier. It's already made a bit of a recovery since, and you may see Bitcoin hold this level here at the end of the day above this, because that's the last all-time high we had at 109k. Bitcoin may hold this by the end of the day, market closing, and you'll see it then start making that push upwards again as well. Okay, so yeah, Liberation Day was on the 2nd of April. The tariffs were implemented on the 5th of April. I apologize. Yes, Liberation Day was on the 2nd of April. Trump implemented the first element of tariffs on the 5th, and then the higher level ones, if you will, on the 9th. It was reciprocal tariffs on the 5th and the more excessive tariffs on the 9th, I believe. I need to fact check that though. So again, that's why I'm only human. I make mistakes myself. So do your own research and trade at your own discretion. But yeah, that's the ultimately the reason why we have seen, and also this as well actually, SafeMoon CEO Braden Caroni has been found guilty of securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering, and is now facing up to 45 years in prison. So we have seen 3 significant news, and one of them being a crypto native one. And SafeMoon is quite a big company, and actually I saw a lot of people talking about SafeMoon back in the past as well. And then a lot of YouTubers stopped talking about it. I guess because they knew about this. So you're seeing SafeMoon, going through a massive issue here as well, understandably. And they're one of the big companies as well. So that's a big turning point on crypto as well. I would argue for the better, because again, this sort of stuff we don't want in crypto. But again, this tariff news as well is also, why we're seeing correction in the market right now. But again, think about what we've seen so far in the last month. Since tariffs have been implemented, which tariffs got implemented down here, by the way, down here, how much has Bitcoin gone up since tariffs have come in? From the absolute bottom here, Bitcoin's currently gone up 50%. 50% of Bitcoin since tariffs have been implemented. So tariffs evidently are not a problem. If they are a problem, the Bitcoin would not be up so high right now. A 50% rally in Bitcoin in the span of a month and a half, by the way. Or going on 2 months. No, month and a half. Yeah, month and a half going on 2 months. Yeah, so tariffs, again, they are headline news. And while people may hate Trump, and I understand why, I'm not personally worried about it. I have no reason to be right now. Maybe we'll see that change in the future. We're going to have to wait and see. DC says, sounds like a good plan if you want unreliable iPhones. I'm not particularly sure what you mean by that. You're talking about if America are the ones to build iPhones, they're going to be unreliable. I don't understand how that makes them unreliable. What's up, Nate Hart, bro? Turbo. Have a quick look at Turbo, actually. I've not looked at Turbo in a minute, actually. Turbo right now is down 7%. Unless you're just saying Turbo's in like Turbo market coming through, I guess. But yeah, Turbo right now is down 7%. It has made that nice rally since that same bottom as well. Has come up roughly almost 5x. It's currently up 3 to 4x since that market bottom down there. Same time as Kaspa. Again, Turbo's quite a well-renowned meme. It's got community and cult-like incentives, so it'll probably come back from here. So Turbo's done very, very well in that regard. DC says he has dementia. He probably can't remember. He's already unsuccessfully done the tariff thing. I mean, the tariffs are still implemented, DC. Don't get me wrong, Trump issued excessive tariffs. Those have fallen through, but the excessive tariffs was, in my belief, a way to force other nations to negotiate, otherwise he would have implemented them. And since tariffs have come through, crypto, because we mainly talk about crypto here, but all invested markets actually, but crypto, in particular Bitcoin, is up 50% all-time high. So evidently, and tariffs are still enforced. Or at least the negotiations are coming through right now, and their tariffs are in place. So I don't think the tariffs have been done unsuccessfully at all right now. Kryptonian says, what made you think that the phone made in China by children and people so overworked they commit, can't say that, would be higher quality ones made here. US manufacturing is known to be expensive and poor, hence these things are made by, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to read all of that out because that could generally get me banned. What's up, Ghosty bro? Welcome back to the stream, brother. Hope you're doing very, very well today. And yeah, interesting to talk about. I mean, again, just to quickly gloss on that, end of the day, right, we know that America is going from an import to now wanting to seemingly be an export country, which is a very drastic change. Trump's made some very, very excessive and arguably much needed policies. Again, I am simply speaking on the facts that I see in front of me. And I do want to reiterate, I'm not pro nor anti-Trump. I really couldn't care less. All I want is for crypto to go up. All I care about the numbers. If the numbers look good, then sure, I'll be happy. If the numbers look bad, then of course, yeah, no, I'll find somebody to blame. Or at the end of the day, though, don't be emotional, be logical. Sometimes it's just up to you to do your own research. And for me, the big impact of tariffs so far have just been headlines. Because again, tariffs have been enforced, trade deals have come through, and we're currently up in the markets. So evidently tariffs can't be that bad. Otherwise we would be down from now. We're not down from now. We're frustrated, but we're not down right now. We're up actually quite considerably. You know, Kaspa, since tariffs have been implemented, Kaspa is currently up 2x. And it has even gone up to 2.5x earlier. Even Kaspa's been up since tariffs. So evidently tariffs aren't, that disastrous. At least they can't be. It's from a financial market perspective, from what we are caring about as investors, it can't be that bad. Now, will that change in the future? Who knows? But so far we're seeing investors coming back to America. So simply looking at the numbers and the facts, tariffs can't be too bad right now. That's all I can say on that matter. Paul says, give more money to the American military complex. They bought... Okay. They bought WMD lie and illegally inactivated. I don't exactly know how to respond to that, Paul, but sure, brother. Sailor won't ever dump his Bitcoin. I mean, that's also true, yeah. I saw Nate Hart said, yeah, I'm going to be so happy when Sailor dumps his Bitcoin bags. I mean, I don't think Sailor equals dump his Bitcoin bags. If he does, then, that could cause a definite... I mean, we won't kill Bitcoin, of course. You can't kill Bitcoin, but would drive some FUD. Okay, well, either way, if you guys want to talk quote-unquote politics, you're welcome to do so. Again, there's a reason why I don't typically like talking about politics. It's such a slippery slope. I cannot tell you how many relationships I've been into which haven't worked out because politics has been a thing. Different political agendas and views. I don't like to talk about politics. I talk about it in the streams because we are investors and I am the entertainer and educator, right? Of course, I'm doing my own research. You should do your own research and again, trade at your own discretion. But we're here to learn more about what's happening in the markets. And we have to understand that why the markets are correcting today is because of the headlines of tariffs. I don't need to get into the ins and outs of what the tariffs fully implemented mean. We don't need to do that here. We can, and in fact, I have my free community there, which has a political channel there for those who want to talk about that, I guess. So you can check out there if you want to, but we don't need to talk about the ins and outs. We just need to talk simply about why the markets are correcting today. It's headlines about tariffs. Cool. That's what's happened. These tariffs are called correcting the markets from Apple stocks, from worries about EU having higher tariffs as well now. End of the day, tariffs have not affected markets too badly. Even now, headlines are causing people to be worried, but look at what's happened so far since tariffs have been implemented. We've seen a 50% rise in Bitcoin. So they can't be that bad, evidently. Otherwise, then, people wouldn't be panicking the way they would be. But again, people are emotional, so you've got to act on that. And that being said, though, let's get into a bit more of the content for now. Welcome back, LB man. Yo. Hope you're doing very, very well. Want to be peaceful. I want to have a peaceful life. Can't lie. What do Scots people think about Kaspa? I've not spoke to many Scots and I have not spoke to them about Kaspa. While I am, of course, still working here, I have tried to, because internet connection has been very, very bad here as well. I've had the odd conversation with people here when it's come up, but this area of Scotland I'm in actually is very remote. That's why internet connection is quite bad here as well. It's very, very remote. So yeah, there's not many people actually here. So it's been more just a quiet getaway with my family for the meantime. So it's been quite nice. So to answer your question, Wing, I don't actually know what the Scots think about Kaspa, but I'm sure I'm sure everyone will be on board in the future to be. That being said, let's get into more of the content for the stream. So we can see right here again, building a little bit on top of what we spoke about yesterday. We've got Coin Athlete here who says none of these are decentralized. Tau, which is the most decentralized option, I guess, is run by Open Tensor, all validators, governance, and clients under one foundation. So while Tau is, seemingly fair launch, it's still run by a singular foundation, therefore meaning it is inherently centralized. It's the most decentralized out of the lot, but at the same time, the argument being is how can you be the most decentralized? Sui, of course, has 108 validators, so 60% of supply is controlled by the central authorities, and there aren't that many of them. And then XRP, of course, they rely on 35 trusted validators to get in the fixed list. No token voting, one client by Ripple. All can hold, censor, and upgrade through centralized control. So these are the three of the biggest projects, and I do hold all these projects as well. I'm aware of what these projects are, and I understand the risk to them, but I still diversify into them because I see potential in making money from them. But again, my faith and belief in them is lackluster, hence why I don't hold too big of a bag. But again, this is the inherent worry about proof of stakes. And actually, again, building on top of more about Sui, this is the part that we saw and covered yesterday, but I didn't even acknowledge it properly. Sui announced, we've learned that the Cetus smart contract was hacked this morning for approximately $223 million, and Cetus subsequently paused their smart contracts to prevent further theft. Cetus worked together with the other DeFi protocols. The Sui Foundation and the Sui validators are collectively protecting the ecosystem. A large number of validators identified the addresses with the stolen funds and are ignoring transactions on those addresses until further notice. So Sui are trying to protect their ecosystem. Fair play to Sui there. But Sui has frozen $160 million out of the $223 million stolen. Now, while they're doing it to protect the investors or the ecosystem, which is again, them trying to protect people, I can't say no to that. Of course, I respect them trying to protect people, but this is again a massive red flag. They have realized the funds that were stolen, and they are actively ignoring all the transactions that are being conducted through those people, through those addresses that have this stolen money. Maybe a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take at all, actually. This is extremely bearish. This move proves that decentralization is a lie in all cases, except Bitcoin, of course. We could argue, of course, Kaspa as well. But again, that's what we saw yesterday. Kaspa Silver stated it's a decentralization only in name. It's only in name, because if decentralized, then how can centralized authorities collectively come together to freeze transactions? It's not decentralized at all. Just 75 validators can freeze wallets at any point. That is ridiculous to me. It's only possible on centralized blockchains. No one could halt or freeze Kaspa. And we can see here from Christian Ludwig, the worst part is they can and do change the coin supply to print more than is on the schedule. So Sui already are actively, apparently, printing more Sui tokens out of thin air. Again, the inherent issue with proof of stakes. Proof of stakes, and again, while they have their uses, again, for potential making money. That's completely up to you if you want to invest in them or not either. But proof of stakes, all in all, because they have a centralized authority behind them, and therefore these, the brain of the project, they can decide ultimately how the whole project acts. They can decide if they want to print more. So it is literally by that logic, therefore, besides it being on technology and it being an ecosystem, it's no different to the fiat currency we have right now. And that system is collapsing because it's a broken system. It can't work. Decentralized nature is the only thing that can fix, this inherent issue. The question with Sui, we should really be asking ourselves, there's now a strong argument that the chain is centralized. I mean, obviously it is. It says it's a DeFi, but how can it be a DeFi if the validators and the Sui Foundation can ignore the transactions and control it? So how's it a DeFi? If it can censor. In proof of works like Kaspa or Bitcoin, this is impossible without a hard fork. Which is what Tony was talking to us about, informing us all about months back, Cryptony, about how while it is feasibly possible for you to, print more tokens or more coins for Bitcoin or Kaspa, it is possible, but it's not possible without a hard fork. Which again, once you do that, then you've got to try and convince the whole ecosystem, the whole community to switch over to this hard fork version. And that is something that people may not agree with. The real question is, with their over 100 validators, set truly is decentralized with many separate participants, how did they all agree on this certain censorship, however altruistic it was, so quickly decide to all execute on the same day? So it's again asking the question of, the real question is, with over 100 validators and apparently quote unquote decentralized, how do they all come to an agreement so quickly to do this? Of course, it's a good thing that they have frozen transactions, because again, you don't want to see the hackers get away with this sort of stuff. But the problem is, again, just highlighting the fundamental issue at the very base layer of a proof of stake project. Because what's stopping the Sui team from owning most of these high barriers of entry? You need only 100 million USD of Sui to run a node or a validator, fancy hardware validators in some warehouse. How do we know that Sui won't just decide to free some other assets or print more out of thin air because they have the money to do so, to be an insider? The real question around decentralization we need to be asking ourselves about modern VC KOL projects. Decentralization, for the most part, is just an illusion. This account here, you saw asked the question. Cook, quite a big account. He doesn't know about Kaspa to my knowledge, doesn't talk about Kaspa to my knowledge, but he's a big account. I've seen him on Twitter consistently. And, he's ultimately hunting again, the fact that decentralization seemingly is just a lie. And it does seem to be again, except from Bitcoin, of course, we could say Kaspa as well, but it's just a crazy scenario to be in right now. And this then Freeman, Finance and Crypto highlights here. Question for Kaspa. I'm against all hacks and scams. And of course, we all are. That's why I'm saying that Sui freezing these transactions is a good thing. It's a good thing, but that's why I'm saying it's a good thing. But again, I'm further more for pro-decentralization. If they can freeze stolen funds, then they can also freeze funds for any other reason. Maybe you've been staking Sui or been holding Sui to the absolute very, very bottom. and you've just been DCAing into it. Now you've got such a massive bag, you want to take it all out at once. But that will completely liquidate the whole network, basically. They might feed it through that reason. Who knows? Of course, not saying they would, but it's possible. So the question being asked here, could Kaspa do something like this as well? Could do stuff here? Short answer, no. Longer answer, no, but longer. To truly freeze funds, you have to coordinate and get everyone to accept a hard fork that reverses the fund or disallows spending. The decentralized nature of Kaspa, like with Bitcoin, would make getting any traction for such a bad hard fork impossible. Borderline impossible. Again, anything is possible in the world, but you would need to get over 51% of the mining power and community to wholeheartedly all come to an agreement to freeze funds, which is a terrible, and to hard fork and freeze funds, which is a terrible hard fork to do. Ultimately, you have to create a hard fork to then force the old tokens to still be stuck on that old network, while upgrading everybody else's to the new hard fork token. It's a terrible thing to do. So the answer, again, with true decentralized projects like Kaspa, it's not possible to do this. And that's a benefit. It's a big, big benefit. Mixed feelings about the three validators, reverting malicious state. No such dilemma of IGRA, layer 2 state is, again, talking about, is it possible with, seeing these layer 2s? And Johnny highlights here, I think the dilemma is always there. Let the malicious state be it versus revert it. So again, the dilemma they're saying, should they have frozen the funds or not? Now for me, I think them freezing was a good thing, but at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that it's still a problem at the base code. And the question, of course, I'm going to ask is, are the likes of Cashback and IGRA going to do a similar thing as well? Are we going to have similar capabilities? And I hope that they won't. But in saying that, Capital makes a very good point here, which is something that I have been trying to, preach as well. Don't just laugh or get happy for the others' losses in these recent rugs or hacks. Don't. Because it's unfortunate. It really, really is unfortunate. But, it's an unfortunate situation right now. It really, really is. What's happened to my live? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just see my screen just turned off black. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. Where was I? Yes, I was here. Don't laugh or get happy for others' losses on a recent rug or hacks on other chains. Yes, proof of stakes is nothing better than any other institution in real life. That's my point. I won't touch anything else besides Kaspa. I have personally, and I probably will do this cycle after the cycle, who knows. But Kaspa themselves also have their own rotten tomatoes in our ecosystem. We've had some own hacks regarding KYC 20s as well. There are going to be those who take advantage of Kaspa, no matter what. No matter what. The whole thing will come down to you doing your own research and making good decisions and deciding who you can trust and what can be used. And for me, yes, Kaspa is seemingly, without question, one of if not the safest project in this space. You could argue Bitcoin as well. In fact, you probably could say Bitcoin's the safest, but Kaspa is very easily close second. After that, everything else in this space is proof of stake. Everything else in this space can decide to just freeze transactions if they want to. It's sort of Ethereum's wallet as well. When Ethereum got hacked on Bybit, they froze transactions as well. So while doing the good thing of freezing it, it's inherently just proving that these, projects can just decide to do whatever they want to do because they have the power to do so. So let's just say you do something while not outside the laws or something illicit, something they just don't agree with. If you do something that, these proof of stakes don't agree with, they can just freeze your funds. And then you just wasted all your money and time holding something that, again, they have complete control over it. Here's, perfect way to think about it. It's the same argument you can make with CBDCs as well. Every other proof of stake project in this space, if you hold their token, it's a food stamp. All these projects in this space, these are a food stamp. When you're buying the tokens, you are inherently being given a raffle to then go and spend it if you choose to. With Kaspa, you're actually being given physical money. With Bitcoin, while a lot slower, you're still being given physical money. While, digital is still money. You actually have true ownership over your Kaspa, as long as you have it in a cold storage and not on an exchange, because on exchange it's the same argument. If you have it in your cold storage, Tantrum, then yes. But the other projects here, this is just, again, Hyperliquid is doing I've been seeing stuff about Hyperliquid today, doing very, very well today. And, shout out to Hyperliquid. But again, Hyperliquid is no different to Sui in this regard. It's proof of stake. They have control over the project. They can decide what they want to do with it. I've mates of mine who've been getting into these two projects. They're very bullish on that. And I think, again, these are projects that do very, very well. That's why people hold them. And the VCs insiders want to keep pumping the project, so they'll keep pumping it. But once more, if you're trying to find a place of safety in crypto, which safety is a hard thing to come by, then the question is, without a doubt, Kaspa. Without a doubt, Kaspa, and even, we're going to be covering this in a moment as well. Martin Heisberg again to be talking about Kaspa again, which is great to see. And once more, his maxi mentality has come back out for us to all see as well. But looking at some questions real quickly as well. So where are we in the questions? We can see where am I? I am here. Wait, I'm with Mr. Miles here. Who do the English hate more, the Scots or the Americans? It's a good question, actually. I think the general consensus is probably Americans. But I think it's because Americans try to beef back. Scots don't care. Scots just, insult you, like, viciously. And you kind of just leave it at that and laugh. So I think it's probably Americans. What's up, Michael, man? Hope you're doing very, very well. Hello. So now we're waiting on smart contract to one listing. So yeah, right now, Kaspa again's in this very interesting spot right now where it's, 11.15 cents. It's seen a nice rally over the last month, and it's just kind of going through a consolidation phase or a slight pullback. But yes, we're waiting to see smart contracts, which again, Capital confirmed that they are coming very, very soon. Now, we haven't got a date, but it will be within the next month, I like to believe. And then tier ones, which will list when they're ready, which I believe will be probably within the next, I want to just throw a number of 3 months out there. When you see the markets rally significantly and Kaspa starts making higher highs, when Kaspa past 13 cents here, you'll see that will officially be the time where this wallet too, the averaging capital right now is probably around 13 cents. So once you go above that bar there, this wallet will now be net positive in Kaspa. So you might therefore see an acceleration of accumulation and therefore a listing coming through. Who knows? Yeah, I've seen crypto.com leak about how to buy Kaspa. OKX been similarly gearing up. Binance have been ready since 2023. Don't know what's taking them so long. So I think, we'll see tier ones coming through and that'll further accelerate Kaspa's price. We don't need them, but it'd be a big, big help. And smart contracts again will also be huge, and we'll see that again in the next month or so. What's up, my man? Wyatt Fett, how you doing? Very, very well. Wing Hong asked us, your entire family use Kaspa. No, my family are very traditional, so they aren't very big. Well, some of them are. They aren't very big on crypto right now. I've been trying to talk them into it, trying to actually realize the potential and benefits of crypto. I'm going to convert them. I'm not worried about that. I have cousins of mine who are into crypto, and I've been telling them about Kaspa, and they'll get in due time. This coin is going to, Omar says this coin is going to blow up soon. In due time, 100% Kaspa is about to go absolutely crazy, and it's going to surprise a lot of people. I do still believe that. RPM says Sui is Pui. On God, it actually is. Would you guys date a girl who doesn't use Kaspa? I mean, if she refused to use it for, when Kaspa effectively takes over, then I would probably say you're an idiot. But at this point, I don't expect many still. I mean, again, we are the small minority of, if you think out of the world population, 7% of the world population know of crypto. And less than that are invested, and less than that know of Kaspa and invested. So, I'm not expecting anyone really to hold. I'll be surprised when I hear Kaspa holders, should be told, because we're still a very, very small space. But in the future, yes, you should be holding Kaspa and using it. Brad Pitt says, the real question is, it doesn't seem that the needle movers care about true decentralization. Sui just got picked up by Microsoft and Casper went down. One on Sui on the hack. Yeah, for me, that was just a time marketing thing. Sui made an announcement to try and stem the bleeding of the hack that is very, very... The negative news around the hack, they made a timely announcement about Microsoft just picking them up. You know, the convenience of that is crazy. And you're right, the needle pushers don't seem to care, but they will care. When they actually realize that the issue inherently is under centralization, how you can just have to have blind trust of these people who just control you completely. And then you come out to Kaspa, which is decentralized and also superior into the technology as well. Why would you use these centralized projects? Why? Why would you use Ethereum, XRP, Sui, all these? Why would you use them when you can use something like it's decentralized, so therefore you have more security and more actual ownership of what you're holding, plus it's as quick if not quicker. So it does everything better than these other projects. It will prove that very soon. So you're right, Brad, right now. Right now, these needle pushers, these needle movers don't care. All they care about is pumping their bags. The VCs inside are pumping their bags as well. These announcements are great for them. You know, I've seen this announcement about, yes, we've got Microsoft now working with us. We've got all these big banks working with us. It's fantastic news for them. And it's good. Again, I do still believe Sui, Sei, Tau, XRP, Ethereum, all these big projects are going to still do fantastic this cycle and make big gains. That's why I'm holding them. But in the long run, because I'm talking more so future to come, when there is a crypto culling, there's going to be a lot that fall off. Kaspa's going to be one of the few that do survive because they inherently have what they need to survive, which is a community of people in a decentralized framework who won't let the project die. We came out to 5 cents, we didn't let it die. When everything starts falling off, Kaspa will come back, of course. I'm sure everything will start falling back, but we have a community of people who understand the true value of what money is, which is energy. Money is energy. Gold is where it's at because you mine gold to get gold. You are spending your energy to get the currency. There's no energy spent in printing money. No energy spent in printing tokens. You have to mine Kaspa to get the tokens or the coin even. It's an energy in that. So in that regard, then, you know, Kaspa won't die. Where am I at? So Nate Hart says, I work for a robotics company and we components from Europol. The 50% tariff news would make us sweat. Well, again, yes, it's also, you know, it's again, the tariffs is definitely, you know, again, the main reason why I've seen the market's correct right now. Because it is going to, again, cause a lot more issues. And whether it's a plan, again, for Trump to try and force negotiations, or whether he's actually just trying to do it because he wants to, you know, push his weight around, I don't exactly know. But we'll see how it unfolds in due time. That's why the market's correcting right now, though. Kryptoni says, quick crypto, that's not true about Bitcoin. Back in its early days, someone counterfeited over 100 billion Bitcoin and they rolled back the chain. Also, Ethereum Classic was made from a fork due to a scam, freezing. Oh, okay. So far, it has not been done with Kaspa and it's the same. Okay, well, in that case, then I stand corrected. I knew about Ethereum. I now remember being told about that about Bitcoin, but I seemingly forgot that. That's, again, poor knowledge on my behalf. Need to do more dusting of my old history of Bitcoin then. But yeah, in that regard, yeah, so far Kaspa had that whole dust attack, which was very, very quickly thwarted. And in the end, nothing was actually taken or stolen. So Kaspa is actually, therefore, the safest bet so far, which is crazy. What's up, Kaspa Keyman? Hope you're doing very, very well. Who turned out the lights indeed? And I'm not reading that out wing. That is crazy. And also incorrect. I need to clarify that. Sui getting effed is great, money out of pocket. I mean, the downfall of Sui and other projects with these, again, centralized nature will inherently help out Kaspa as well in the long run. Sui's mask is off. They just prove they are the worst in the bank. Not trustless, not decentralized. I mean, again, Sui will do well still, but in the long run, people will start realizing the shortcomings and issues of, again, trusting a centralized control. They claim centralization, but that's only in name because you can just do this, which is terrible. And there will be projects that come out on Kaspa as well who will do the same thing. So you've got to be very, very careful, but Kaspa at its base layer is fine. So Kaspa therefore is safer. And actually talk about that, we'll get to this post here. Of course, we know Martin Heisberg, who is the head of research at Uphold, made this famous, infamous quote about Bitcoin with the Kaspa testnet. And he just made a post recently as well talking about this here, where he said that you may soon come across a new project called Contractless. Here is a sneak peek on my take on it to be published in next week's Uphold newsletter. To subscribe, again, you can just start going to subscribe to the newsletter here. So here's TLDR of the Contractless chain. Handles millions of transactions per second on a laptop by replacing mempools with Postgres. High TPS claims often fail on average hardware due to memory. So his take is a valid critique on fake TPS, but millions on a laptop. A bit sketchy, therefore. Postgres for mempools interesting, but disk I/O versus RAM. Durant really solved the core problem. So he's ultimately going to be talking about this new project coming out, making a TLDR about it, which seems to be just saying it sounds great on paper, but it just sounds sketchy as F. Kaspa, though, they're already the perfect solution for that. Not about mempool fixes. You use blockdag, parallel blocked, equals high TPS, true high TPS, not fakes that other projects claim to have. Instant confirmations, fundamentally different, tackling the core bottleneck, not just one component. So we're seeing Dr. Mark Harsberg now talking more about other projects, but also, again, consistently calling back to Kaspa just being the ultimate chain. Again, Kaspa is going to prove itself very, very soon. People are going to realize the significance of that, and you're seeing more tools being built to support the incoming smart contracts coming out, new tools for KYC 20s, and again, fixes to Ethereum's API wallet method. So again, we're seeing more stuff coming out for Kaspa and Navigodica, which is very, very good news. We'll see a lot more coming out. And yeah, again, people misunderstand Kaspa. People right now, as investors, they fundamentally look at a number of factors. Who's behind the project? Who are the partnerships? And, I guess, and then simply just price. There are certain other elements you look at as well, tokenomics, that sort of stuff, but people have their own levels of risk to reward when they're looking at crypto and projects. And people have their different levels. For me, there's an element of risk to reward in every project in this space, even Kaspa. But Kaspa's equal the least, because Kaspa has one of the highest ROI potentials in my belief, while also having the safest foundation. Everything else has a very big element of uncertainty around it because they are centralized. Again, going back to this post, XRP relies on 35 validators. What to say there's 35 to just say, oh, you know what? We're going to just take all the tokens out. Sui has 108. And 60% of the total, if these 108 validators decide to collectively just take it all out, they can do. They control 60%. They can just dump the project. Kaspa is not possible for that. It is feasibly impossible to do that with Kaspa. So for me, Kaspa, again, it's the safest. And while the price is not pumping right now, you've got to understand that us as investors, you've got risk to reward. Some of us want to see quick pumps. If you want to go that, again, you've got meme coins, you've got these proof of stakes, they're all got good potential. And I'm investing in them myself. So they've got good potential. But if you're looking to set your future up, not financial advice, I have to say that, of course. But for me, I'm looking to set my future up. That's one of my biggest bag, and holding my bank effectively is in Kaspa now. Not my physical bank right now, of course, but the money that I'm getting, the money that I make for what I do in my daily life, as we all do in our daily lives and work and whatnot, I will continuously keep DCing into Kaspa because it's the project that I believe in, because I do see it being the safest bet in this space. And I have control over it. The fact that I can actually have true ownership over the money for the first time ever is a very big deal. Where am I in the questions right now? Sui mask is off. They just prove they were worse than bank. Yes, true. Very, very true. Kaspa did well in 23, 24 was a bear market for Kaspa, and 25 so far up Bitcoin 60%, Kaspa only 30%, unless you bought Kaspa in 23, would have been better than holding Bitcoin. You're right, again, but again, you've got to understand we're in a Bitcoin dominant market. Kaspa has not performed better than Bitcoin, but again, you're in a Bitcoin dominant market. It's not good. I can say with utmost conviction that come, in the next 4 or 5 months, Kaspa's going to massively outperform Bitcoin. Now, of course, again, the argument still stands. If you held Bitcoin for the first 3 months of this year, 4 months, 5 months of this year, you'd be better up in Bitcoin. Of course you would be. But that's all relative. There's no point talking about the what ifs, because that's also going to make you more emotional. You've got to think about the future as well, not just living in the now. Kappa had a great 2023, and before that, 24 was a very rough year. Well, the last 6 months of 24 was a very rough 6 months for Kaspa, and it came down more, leading up 10 months downtrend, and then we saw this reversal start. And again, I think it's going to be a very big one coming through as well. They're going to convert when they see you're a millionaire. I mean, those who get rich on Kaspa, they'll come back, I'm sure. People will get rich on Kaspa and they'll all come back. Kaspa is in different conflict with Bitcoin. Kaspa's just different in general. It's completely different in general. And people will all start coming to Kaspa when they actually realize. When you can realize that you could have a protocol that is actually truly safe while still being sufficiently quicker than everything else. Like, there's no reason to not use Kaspa at that point. The only reason not to use Kaspa is because you can't get insider holdings and therefore you can't have, vested interest and therefore have more control. The only reason that banks want CBDCs, the only reason why these other projects, they want to have centralization is because they can have control of what happens. Control is something that has become a very, very big humane. It's something people love control. They just love control. People don't like not being in control. It's out of their comfort zone. That's why it took so long for crypto to be accepted, because people didn't understand it. It's out of their comfort zone. They want to learn about it. And then even more so Kaspa and Bitcoin, because they're even more out of their control because they're actually decentralized. But it's understanding that you actually have more ownership over them. You just know how to do it properly. You know what you're holding properly. You holding Sui or any other project, while again I hold them and I still will be holding them in the cycle, so I think they'll do well, I understand that I am at risk of being frozen out. That's how I perceive them. I'm at risk of being frozen out. So I'm going to make sure I adjust my strategies accordingly to where I can hopefully still make my money and still not risk being frozen out. That's why my allocation in them is also very, very small. But Kaspa, again, is for me, it's a perfect form of money. Kaspa does not incentivize needle movers. Why do you think they'll be forced to care about Kaspa? They have massive amounts of soul bags, and Kaspa does not incentivize needle movers. Again, because Kaspa is bringing something to the space that is fundamentally lost in the world of money and finance, which is the actual value of having true ownership. The insiders who are pumping the bag and the needle movers, yes, people are always good to where their money is and moving. So they're going to go to there. But in due time, for me, when you realize that Kaspa can do everything these other projects can do and better while still being more secure and decentralized, and people actually start realizing, oh wait, these other projects are doing this stuff like freezing their holdings more and more. Why would you go to these projects? Because they're pumping in value? But Kaspa's got mining, so it's going to continue appreciating more and more. You have more and more tools from these other projects building on top of Kaspa as well. So to answer your question, Red, you've got people like Marathon as well who are mining Kaspa. Well, they're not holding a lot, they're still mining Kaspa. So you do have interest in Kaspa, not as much price movement in Kaspa as other projects, but they will come through. When the ecosystem expands more and more smart contracts come on board, they'll start building to Kaspa as well. It's just a matter of time. Of course, the big KOLs and the big money movers and the needle movers, they're not going to come over straight away. They don't need to. They could just retire what they have, truth be told. But Kaspa is going to do very well. Maybe they'll maintain value through its mining on stablecoins though I feel Kaspa lacks popularity no matter what it does technology. Not sure smart contracts be any different. I see where you're coming from. I do. I'm not trying to, say you're wrong. Because again, it's all, at the end of the day, right, what we're talking about now is just speculation. None of us know the truth of what's going to happen in the future. And Kaspa, yeah, I think Kaspa's going to maintain its values definitely as well. And the money will be very, very good. Kaspa does lack popularity, but because it lacks smart contracts and therefore use case. Factors that are going to be coming out in the next few months. And you've seen proof already of big researchers, of, titans in the space who are acknowledging Kaspa. Looking at Grayscale, who did consider them. Marathon, who are mining them. Which therefore means BlackRock are acknowledging them as well. You've got them partnered with Zodia. They're speaking to the SEC. They've got the KRI. They've got people, institutions like that. So for me, Casper is still going to get adoption. There's no doubt in that. And the popularity is going to grow more and more. Bitcoin took a very long time. Casper's going to take a while probably, but it still will be fine and quick enough for me, again, because they've got the adoption and partnership necessary. So the KRI, again, I think we cannot sleep on the KRI. They're going to be such a big factor for me. Bufflink says, any news on the Grayscale listing? No, I have not heard anything just yet. I'm sure they'll add Casper back again at some point later on, but right now we are still left in the dark, unfortunately. Cruiser Ghost says, call me crazy. I hope Casper drops to 10 cents again. So my long 5x has been triggered. That would be crazy if we do drop down to 10 cents. It will depend on Bitcoin though. I'll be surprised if you see that happening. But again, I would not be against it. Mila says, I'm so sick and tired of this orange idiot. His mind's gone. I mean, again, when a headline driven market, you can hate Trump all you want, but at the end of the day, once more, look at how we're at right now. We have seen a 50% rally in Bitcoin since he announced tariffs. Pretty much since Liberation Day. So evidently tariffs aren't that bad if the markets and investments are up. So all it is the headline news. There's nothing really to be worried about, therefore. At least right now. Again, we have to see how it pans out in the future. But so far, I don't think we have much to be worried about. Again, I think it's just noise and investors are worried about the noise. Coming through so far, I'm listening back to a more. There's not great to hear, brother. Keep sucking that bag, keep mining more. Again, Casper, I think, is an absolute gem. Of course, in my personal belief, but I think people are still massively sleeping on Casper, and they'll come to realize the significance of Casper, of true decentralization. When this stuff happens more and more, this stuff will happen more and more. When crypto grows more and more, there'll be more hackers, and the more freezing of assets will happen more and more. Casper will be different and also safer because it's harder to hack Casper because it's, again, you have to control more than 50% of the mining to attack it. 51% attack, you can't, it's harder to do that. But yeah, with that being said though, that will be it for today's Casper and crypto live stream. Again, apologies for the still lackluster setup. I will be streaming tomorrow as well, not sure when. And in regards to Sunday, the chance to be streaming on Sunday is very, very small because I'm going to be doing a 12-hour odd something round trip from Scotland back home. So I don't think I'll be able to stream on Sunday, but I'll keep you all informed. All Money In says, do you think Casper has to make a new all-time high this bull run to survive a bear market? I think Casper easily makes a new all-time high this cycle, and I think it survives a bear market easily as well. I think Casper does it regardless. To answer your question, effectively, yes, we would need that, but I don't think it's going to be hard to do at all. We're currently, 50% down, 45% down from all-time highs? Not that far. And with what's about to come out, smart contracts, stable coins, all this sort of stuff coming out for crypto, Casper's about to rip, in my belief. Again, I've been saying that for a while, but I think it's even more prevalent now than ever before. If we have just a few months before the end of the cycle, and smart contracts are not even out until July, I don't think I have enough time to really build market cap through transfer fees and revenue. There's no confirmation we have a few months left of the cycle though. Again, this is all relative. In that exact scenario, Bread Pit, you may be right, but the cycle may not only be a few months. It could be until the end of the year. It could be in 2026 as well. We have no confirmation yet. We have so much more to come out. We've got developments from Swift, the money system, who's adopting ISO 20022 in November. That's a big thing. More adoption into blockchain technology, therefore. You've got these stablecoin regulations, crypto bills coming out in August, which is a few months away. But that might just indicate a massive more capital inflow for institutions. So again, we have no idea what the cycle is going to be. And Casper, again, they'll be listening to developments soon and continue developing more and more from there. So it comes down to once more timing. Don't be emotional.